Hey everybody, this is Max Showman, and I'll be talking to you about emotional disturbances this week. So, emotional disturbances are any of these characteristics that can adversely affect a child's educational performance, whether that's the inability to learn that cannot be explained by intellectual, sensory, or health factors, and inability to maintain personal relationships, whether that's with friends, family, teachers, or coaches, any of those relationships, inappropriate types of behavior, whether that's lashing out at bad times or you know pushing and pulling against certain relationships are definitely some of the characteristics that come with disturbances uh, emotionally. A general pervasive mood or depression can be a characteristic, and a tendency to develop physical symptoms or fears associated with personal or school problems. So, some types of emotional disturbances are anxiety disorder, bipolar disorder, conduct disorders, eating disorders, OCD, or psychotic disorders. That's only a few of many emotional disturbances that students may face throughout their academic careers. And it's all personal, and that's kind of why I decided to go with emotional disturbances because it's such an umbrella term, and being able to understand them in a better sense can really help us to find the emotional disturbance and see when our students are struggling. Some causes: heredity can be a cause. Brain disorder, diet, stress, family functions. Those are only a few of the causes that could be a factor, and the reason I only put a few is because we don't really understand yet specifically what causes emotional disturbances, and that's because it's so personal to each student, and we don't know exactly what's causing the emotional disturbance in each student, but we can definitely see from studies that these few causes are some main points of concern when it comes to emotional disturbances. So, the prevalence of emotional disturbances, and this is another reason I chose to do this, is because it is so prevalent in the society we live in today. Out of 74.5 million children in the US, 17.1 million are experiencing an emotional disturbance. And the Surgeon General estimates that at least 20% of children have faced these disorders at some point in their life from childhood to adolescence. And they say that at least 10% or about 6 million people has a serious emotional disturbance at some point in their life. So seeing those statistics show me as an educator that a lot of students in my classrooms could be facing emotional disturbances, and they're going right under my nose and I'm not seeing it. So it's our job to be able to understand our students on an emotional level and be able to understand when they are maybe struggling with an emotional disturbance and be able to communicate with them properly and empathetically to help them get through that disturbance and get them back on chasing their goals and being able to be at the max potential they have. So, some strengths and weaknesses with emotional disturbances. Adversity is the only strength that comes out of an emotional disturbance. So, um, that being said, it's once that the student learns to adjust and learns to cope with their emotional disturbance, it does build adversity in them, and they can adapt better to situations after they learn how to. Um, Out of the gates, there are no strengths with an emotional disturbance, but after they learn and after they get help, it does help them to cope later in life with different disturbances and can help them grow and get out of funks easier. Some weaknesses are hyperactivity, whether that's short attention span or impulsiveness, aggression or self injurious behaviors. There's acting out, fighting with other classmates, hurting themselves. It does create withdrawal, not interacting socially with others, excessive fear and anxiety, pulling themselves mentally out of the classroom. Immaturity, inappropriate crying, temper tantrums, poor coping skills can be other weaknesses drawn out of emotional disturbances that can create havoc in the classroom, not only for them, but for us as educators and students around them as well. And obviously, the learning difficulties, academically performing below grade level. And obviously, these other weaknesses above that one can create that problem and create a learning difficulty in these students. So for ways we as educators can help these students, I created a comic strip to show some good ways to educate these students and help them get through their emotional disturbance. And the first way is getting them into special education. And we want to do this as quickly as possible. When we notice that a student is struggling with an emotional disturbance, we need to act on it now. We can't let it fester, it just gets worse. And getting them into special education and getting them educated in certain ways that help them specifically knowing their emotional disturbance can really help them get engaged in the classroom and understand um, that we're there for them and that we're going to help them no matter what the case may be. Secondly, make sure your class rules and activities are clear and simple. This is going to drop their anxiety and really help their emotional disturbance not, fester and get worse. We can help them by being clear, repeating yourself, and not making rules and assignments too difficult to understand. And if they are struggling to understand, we need to notice that and be able to slow them down and be able to help them understand better no matter what. If they need to see it written out, write it out. If they need to hear it again, say it again. Whatever the case may be, make it clear. And the last thing is motivate your students, reward their positive behavior. Students with emotional disorders are already feeling down. We need to build them up, and no matter what that case may be, we need to be able to motivate them. And every time we see something positive that they did or are doing, let them know. Let them know that they're doing well and that you're noticing it. Let them know that they're noticed and that they're doing well. And secondly, what we'd like to talk about is educators and parents and how to help parents do better with this emotional disorder and how we can help build a teamwork between that. And there's a few ways we can do that, whether that's creating weekly checkup times, being able to each week talk to the parents, let them know how their student did or how their child did, and also listen to the parents about how they're doing at home. And if we can do this each week, we can understand where they're at and if they're getting better or worse and how to engage them for the following week. The next way is instant communication, whether that's a phone call, text, email, Zoom call each week. No matter what we do or what they need, if we need to give the parents a way to contact us immediately if need be, and we need to be open to instant communication. Even if we can't answer that phone call right that second, we need to call them back and let them know that we're trustworthy and we're there to help. And then lastly is schedule yearly reviews each year. So with students with emotional disturbances, at the end of the year, see where they've come, see the positives, the positivity of what we've accomplished this year, and let the student know um, how positive their emotional disturbance has come, that upward slope. Let them know that they're doing better and that we're still there for them, and how we're going to carry this on to the next year. Those are good ways to create a team atmosphere and create that trust and understanding that not just educators being there, but parents, uh, principals, friends. Bring people into the team that can help these students with emotional disturbances get out of their funk and get back into that upward slope of being able to engage and be able to get into their maximum potential. So my thoughts on emotional disturbances, they're so prevalent in the U.S. today, and that makes me think we need to do a better job at noticing these students with these disturbances. We need to do a better job at getting that downward trend of emotional disturbances. All the statistics of showing that 20% of students go through these emotional disturbances. That's such a high number, and understanding that could just be the low. in your classroom. Noticing these disturbances quickly and getting to communicate empathetically to help these students get out of the emotional disturbance they're in to better, increase their potential and get them chasing their goals is so crucial. And I think as educators, we have a platform to really get that slope going back down and get the percentages down with these students with emotional disturbances. And communication with parents and students is the key to understanding when your students are feeling their best. I've harped on it all semester or all class so far. Communication is key. Being able to communicate with your students and their parents and getting them on the same page with you and being able to not only talk to them but have them talk to you is so crucial in helping these students grow and helping them to feel comfortable with you as a teacher and get them back into the classroom engaged and ready to learn in a positive manner. Communication, I can't tell you enough how much communication really does make a difference in students' lives. And teamwork makes the dream work. It goes off what I just said. Communication, create a team for these students. Who are their close friends? Bring them in. Let them know what their friend is feeling and help them to understand how they can help their friend. Principals, staff around the school, coaches, parents, these are all team members, and we all can help each other to understand these students better emotionally and be able to help them each and every day to accomplish their goals and really engage them and help them emotionally through their hard times. So with that being said, I hope the statistics and what I said about, being able to really get these students and these percentages going on that downward slope and get them back into feeling emotionally happy and successful in the classroom. We are on a pedestal to really help these students. So I hope it tugged a little on your heartstring there, and it really helps you moving forward to understand your students emotionally and help them quickly. Don't let it fester, and I really do think that we can truly make a difference as educators and get these students feeling good about themselves and accomplish their goals and get them to that max potential that they deserve and can accomplish. So thank you for listening. If you have any questions about emotional disturbances moving forward, please don't hesitate to reach out, and I'd love to talk more about it. And if you have ideas, I'd love to hear them. Thanks so much.